are live on both streams. We should be going live on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So just let me check on both of those that we are actually live. Yep, I think we're YouTube and on LinkedIn. So just let me check. Okay. Yep. I think we're just going to mute myself on those. So a very warm welcome to you. I hope you're having a good day so far. I know that it's lunchtime thereabouts here in the UK. In Eastern time, it is around breakfast time. So hopefully you can enjoy a coffee or a bite to eat whilst we're spending a bit of time together. So if you are watching live, can you drop a hashtag live in the comments, in the chat? If you have any questions as we go along, then you can either DM them to me if you feel more comfortable doing that, or you can also drop them in the chat. And I will try to keep my eye on the chats as we go along. If you're watching on replay, just drop a hashtag replay so that we can see who's watching again. So a very warm welcome to you. In case you don't already know me, my name's Amanda Craven. I've been a clinical hypnotherapist and life coach for the last 8 years now. And I specialise in helping leaders and entrepreneurs break free from emotional traumas, from childhood traumas, so that they can scale their business and find joy both in their business and in their personal life. So it's great to be with you today. Just this is the first live of this sort that I've done, so excuse me if I'm fiddling about a little bit, just checking that everything is working. So if you would like to stay in touch, then please do connect with me either in LinkedIn or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I would love for us to stay in touch. I put out a lot of valuable free content, and you will be the first to know if we are connected on one of these platforms. So this week I'm going to be running a series of 5 mini webinars on a particular type of trauma, and this trauma is the fallout, if you like, from narcissistic abuse, from narcissistic relationships. And I think it's really important to keep putting stuff out there, keep spreading the word, because covert narcissism in particular, and that's where I'm really focusing my attention this week, can be really, really difficult to spot. And for many of my clients, it's taken years, if not decades, for them to be able to join the dots and see the patterns and realize that the reason they have not been able to have a healthy relationship with a significant person in their life, maybe a partner, a spouse, maybe a sibling or a parent, was not because the person themselves was doing anything wrong. It's because they are or were in a relationship with a covert narcissist, and it is impossible to have a healthy relationship with this type of person. Narcissism is actually a personality disorder, and a diagnosable one at that. But we are not going to be focusing on the diagnostic side of things. We are going to be keeping it practical, and I'm just going to run through the schedule for the rest of the week. And if you're watching on replay, you should be able to catch all of the mini webinars, which will last for between 10 and 20 minutes, I think. It's not an exact science. And I think today the first one is going to be perhaps a little bit longer than the others, because I'm also setting the scene. So the schedule then. So I'm going live each day at 12:30 p.m. British summertime. I say British summertime, it's rather not summery outside today. And as I said before, this is 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. And today is all about the traits of a covert narcissist, how to spot one, how to recognize one, how to start working towards that aha moment, that light bulb moment when you realize that this is the reason this relationship is toxic, because that significant person is a covert narcissist. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the sort of person who appears to magnetically attract a narcissist. Now, there are obviously two ways that we have a narcissist in our life, either because we are born into a family with a narcissistic parent. Sometimes both parents are narcissistic. It tends to be one, and in the majority of cases of my clients, this does appear to be the mother in, I would say, 75% of cases. But of course, we do get narcissistic fathers. And then, as an and or, you may have a narcissistic sibling. But if you are in an adult relationship with somebody, you're starting to ask this, whether this person is a narcissist, then there will be particular reasons why you have been targeted. And that's exactly what it is. You are targeted by a covert narcissist because you are a good supply of what they need. So there will be more about that tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm going to be sharing some strategies that are going to help you cope with what is going on, if this is a current situation, or to help you deal with a narcissistic relationship and begin to move forward. So today we're looking at some key traits of a covert narcissist in particular. The reason I'm focusing on covert narcissism is because it really is the darker side of narcissistic behavior. An overt narcissist is very much out there. What you see is what you get, wherever you are, whoever you are. They're easy to spot and easy to avoid. A covert narcissist is a different kettle of fish altogether, and the very nature of them being covert, of a lot of their manipulative behavior going under the radar, means that it can be very distressing, very confusing, and very difficult to actually really get a handle on what's going on. So let's begin. And I have put a note, I think, in the comments, but in case you haven't got this, I don't know if this is back to front, apologies if it is, but it says 15 signs your partner or parent is a covert narcissist. This is also applicable if we're talking about any other sort of personal relationship, and a sibling, of course. So if you haven't already got this, there are details below, or if you can't see them, just DM me and I will send you a link so you can download your very own copy to keep, which will be really useful. One of the main things, and one of the strategies I'm going to be sharing with you, is all about educating yourself. So if you suspect that this significant person in your life is a covert narcissist, then this is the sort of thing that you need to be doing, educating yourself in order to get as clear as possible as to what is going on. So one of the key traits of a covert narcissist is that they have two personas. They have a public persona and they have a private persona. If you are in a romantic relationship with a let's say CN, because covert narcissist is quite a mouthful to be saying that all the time. So if you are in a romantic relationship with a CN, then the chances are at the beginning it is amazing. It's maybe one of those relationships that you got into very quickly. You felt like you'd met the person of your dreams, your soulmate. Everything just clicked into place. They seem to just mirror everything that you wanted out of life. And they can also project a constant charming persona to the outside world. Even once the cracks start appearing in your personal relationship, they will continue to present themselves to the rest of the world as a pillar of the community. But as I said, at the beginning of a romantic relationship, you feel like you have just won the jackpot, that you have gone to heaven. It is an amazing relationship. Over time, you will start to get some red flags, but you will probably ignore a lot of those, at least in those early months, because there are some amazing moments and it's not all bad by any stretch of the imagination. But you, as I say, will probably stuff down any concerns and just find yourself doing stuff that you notice with hindsight to keep the peace. And you may become aware that you are starting to walk on eggshells. You are starting to monitor, to filter what you say or how you say things in order to avoid triggering an unwanted reaction, maybe an outburst from this person, from the CN. So, yeah, to the outside world, charming, a pillar of the community, generous, kind, witty, would do anything for anybody. And then within the confines of an intimate or very personal relationship, you will start to see a different side to them. But you will have many moments when they are doing or saying something and you think, I don't recognize this person. But because of the nature of the relationship, you will just sorry, I'm being a bit distracted. The heavens have opened here and it's very noisy. I hope that's not interfering with the sound. But you will continue to stuff down any concerns, even though you're starting to think, well, that this isn't the person I met or started dating or even married. I don't recognize them. But you will no doubt soldier on. So within some of this unrecognizable behavior is very passive aggressive behavioral traits. And this can be anything. It can be from using sarcasm, from dressing things up that are very hurtful, but presenting them as a joke, but a joke that is obviously not making you laugh or feel amused, that is actually very hurtful. There could be guilt tripping, sulking, the silent treatment, all sorts of covert types of behaviour that are very hurtful and very confusing for you, because it's in total contrast to the person you first met. You may or may not have picked up on that the CN in your life needs to be admired. They need attention. And it's not in that overt way where they want to be centre of the stage and want to be loud and want everybody to notice them. But their need for what we call narcissistic supply, which is to have attention and admiration from anybody, anywhere, anytime. They don't care, but they need this supply just as much as an addict needs their supply of whatever they're addicted to. It really is something that they are strongly driven to acquire. So it doesn't matter, as I said, where that comes from. And at the beginning of a relationship, whether it's a parent-child relationship and you're a young child just wanting that love from your parent and will do anything to keep on their good side and to get some positive response from them, or whether it's at the beginning of a romantic relationship, you will be supplying that admiration and that attention. But as you start to see the cracks and you may start to back off a little bit, to distance yourself, they will feel that they are not getting that unwavering, unconditional attention from you. So you may well find, if it's a romantic partner, that they will start looking elsewhere. You might notice them crossing boundaries or blurring boundaries in other relationships, or just doing things that will make sure that other people are admirative of what they are doing or who they are. They will also do all sorts of other things in order to get that attention. So a pity party is not out of the question. It doesn't matter what that attention is. If they are playing the victim, which they often will, then they will attract the pity, the concern, the care of other people, and that's just what they need. Let's have a look. So they do have a concern for their public image, though, and will go to great lengths to make sure that the rest of the world outside of their very intimate relationships do think that they are this model citizen. So it makes it very isolating for you if you are the victim in this relationship, because you feel that nobody else is going to believe you. If you speak up, if you say what they are really like or some of the things that they do behind closed doors, you kind of know that you will not be believed, or you don't think that people are going to believe you, because it's just chalk and cheese, this very black or white type of behaviour. Triangulation is another trait that you may experience, and this is when they deliberately create conflicts between other people. It may be between you and somebody else. They may just say something to you or that other person, and it's kind of a bit like lighting the touch paper and standing back and just watching what happens. That seems to bring them a lot of sadistic pleasure, really, to see other people starting to argue or to not get on well together. They hate to be criticised. So if they do something that upsets you and you try to let them know, no matter what tone of voice, turn of phrase, no matter how you try and let them know that they have upset you in some way, it will not be a message that is well received. So the slightest hint of them being criticised is a chink in that need to be admired, and again that will trigger quite often an explosive reaction in the CN, or it will get them going elsewhere for their supply, as I mentioned earlier. You might notice, if you step back and observe other relationships that the CN has had or is having, that they seem to lack long-term stable relationships, whether this is just platonic friendships with people, staying in touch with people over a long period of time. There does seem to be a lot of hopping about and a lack of deep, meaningful, long-term relationships. So that's also a clue. I've mentioned a little bit about emotional manipulation, but that is a very key trait. And gaslighting is a term that you may have heard features quite heavily in this sort of manipulation. So coming back to this idea of you trying to have a conversation, a healthy adult to adult conversation about something that that has upset you, or some boundaries that they're overstepping, then they will not react well to it, and they will twist round what you're saying. They will turn it round so that within a matter of seconds or minutes, the focus is on you. You are being blamed for the behaviour that you're trying to pull them up on. And it just becomes this, we call it word salad, where they seem to be throwing stuff at you. You might feel like you're just spinning round in the room. You don't know whether you're coming or going, and you've probably forgotten what the conversation was about at the beginning, or the point you were trying to make. You may even find yourself apologising, or they will storm off and have this explosive reaction, and you'll be left confused and bewildered. So this manipulative behaviour and the confusion that it leaves behind is very, very common. Telling lies is another biggie. In order to get the supply of attention that I mentioned earlier on, they will go to any extremes, and they will tell lies to other people in order to get the attention. In playing the victim, they will invent stories, concoct scenarios that aren't even true in order to get other people on their side. And they are quite often very good at denying things. So if you do try to pull them up on something that they did or said, they will flat out deny having done or said this thing, and will again turn it round and make you feel that you are the one who are misremembering, or maybe even going completely mad and inventing things. So lying just comes very naturally to a covert narcissist. Let's have a look at my last part of my list, see if I've missed anything out. So we've talked about victim mentality, the lack of accountability. They will not take responsibility. It will always be your fault or somebody else's fault. So total lack of accountability is another big clue. A lack of emotional I'm going to stumble on this word, reciprocity, lack of emotional reciprocity. If you think about it, if you kind of look into their eyes when you're having a conversation with them, you will not get much depth. There is a total lack of ability to truly feel emotions and to truly empathize with another person. They are so self-absorbed, they are so in their own world, that they will not connect on a truly, sincerely, deep and meaningful level. They will be able to act out this role of being empathic, of being compassionate in the early days usually, but you will realize that there isn't any depth to it. They don't have that ability to really sincerely connect with you. Yeah, I've mentioned the sort of the double persona, this exterior public persona, and then the person they are behind closed doors, and they may be quite aggressive. This can be and is usually verbally or emotionally aggressive towards you. There can also be physical aggression. So that is not as common as the psychological aggressive behavior. But if there is abuse, if there is aggression, then you do need to reach out to somebody and get help with that and get advice. I will be sharing some tips and strategies for dealing with the relationship as a whole as the week goes on. But if there is true abuse in your relationship, and I mean physical, verbal, psychological abuse, then you do need to seek professional help. That is a really important point. So, yeah, and just finally, the covert arrogance. Again, I've already alluded to that. It's not obvious. They don't appear to be arrogant or showing off in public, but you will pick up on certain behaviours that reveal their entitled nature. They just believe they are entitled to whatever it is they want. That attention, the bigger portion, if you're sharing something out. They don't respect your boundaries and will be quite blatant in overstepping those, using your stuff and just feeling that because you are in a relationship that they are entitled to use whatever you have and to not respect your boundaries. So that is something that I'm going to help you with by sharing a few strategies later on in the week. So that's just about it for today. I am just going to do a quick check and see if we have any questions before we wrap up. You can pop your questions, as I say, either in a DM or in the chat. Drop a hashtag live if you've been watching live, and thank you very much for joining me live. And otherwise, if you're watching this later on, please drop a hashtag replay. Yeah, I'd love to get to know you as the week goes on. So thank you so much for watching right now. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I will see you tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. British Summer Time, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Bye for now.